Good morning, everyone. How are we all today? It's the talking head for the last one of the week. So let's have a wee look, see who's in. Morning, Lorna, Wee Bird, John Baxter, Martin Boyd, Hootsman, Wolf Pet, Stephen Bankier, Kirsty Hamilton, Malk McLachlan, Martin the Hibby, Christina Mackey, Scott Haynes, Kirsty Falls, morning Kirsty, Graham Eason, Peter M. I think that's she's got so far. George Docherty, John O'Rourke, Wolf Pet, Eddie, hi Gillian, hi William, hi Graham, hi Jeanette, hi Desiree, hi Harry, hi Alistair. Right, numbers are climbing nicely. It's the last one of the week. Trump's no go at the Peace Prize. We'll get there, Alistair. We'll get there. So we will. Because it's the only story in town today. Well, that and one in the Herald, which is way out there. Way out there. And I mean way out there. I'm Muttley Von Erich. Right, anyway, let's get this underway, shall we? Sunday Truck Davy out the truck. And at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is 13 degrees. It's starting to cloud out again, but it was clear. Today's high will be 14 degrees. There's no rain in the forecast, so it'll definitely rain. Humidity's at 88%. Winds at 15 to 31 kilometres an hour, or 9 to 18 miles an hour. And the pollen count is low, and the main allergen today is Alder. Okay, so that's what the weather's like here in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what it's like where you are, look at your own bloody Monday. Right, it's the 10th of the 10th, 2025. And first up this morning, we have the Rancid, the Daily Record. We don't put that one up, and we don't put the Scum up, but we'll tell you what's in it. Peace deal unites Palestinians and Israelis. A new hope. Now, we need to correct that headline right away, folks. Well, everybody's rolling about in the euphoria here. It is, hi, good morning, Solari. It is a ceasefire at this stage. It's not a peace deal. And the ceasefires in Gaza haven't got a good record of holding. So it's a waiting brief to see if this ceasefire will hold. But it's not a peace deal by any measure, so the Rancid's got it right. Okay, next up with the Lonely Rag, the Express. We'll get it up. If we can find the bloody thing. We want 8 days. Oh, come on, where did I put the thing? It's here somewhere, folks. Just bear with me. No, it's not there. Oh dear. Fridays, what's it like? Right, I'll get it up now, folks. Sorry about that. Should be the top one. Here we go. The Lonely Rag, the Express. Trump's peace. He's fucking peace. As I say, at this point in time, folks, it's a ceasefire. Hopefully it'll lead to peace. As I say, the record on ceasefires isn't great. Anyway, what does it actually say? It says Israelis and Palestinians unite in celebration. A US brokers historic deal. Trump's peace. As I say, I don't know if it will get as far as peace, but we can all live in hope. At least the killing's going to stop for a wee while. So that's the Express. We'll get shot of that and see what's supposed to be next. After the Express, we have the Scotsman. See, they're all basically own the same thing today. With the exception of the Herald. And that's got everlasting peace, hope and ceasefire deal. That's covered both bases. Everlasting peace, hope and ceasefire deal. And that is it. And the ceasefire starts today, 12 p.m. Israeli time, does it? Thanks, Stephen. But as I say, it's a ceasefire, folks, and they don't have a good record on ceasefires. But we can hope that the withdrawal of some support for the Yanks means that Netanyahu's had to put the brakes on, I hope. So, as I say, we can live in hope. And so the record on peace deals is no great. Right, next up, I think it's the Field that's next. It is the Daily Field. And it's having a pop at Starmer and at Macron. And it has Hamas, the war is over, blessed is the peacemaker, and utterly pointless the virtue signalling liberals like Starmer and Macron. So apparently, Trump walks in water with this paper, and Starmer and Macron are pretty wishy-washy. A lot of truth in that. A lot of truth in that. So, as I say, a lot's being made of this ceasefire. But that's what it is, folks. It's a ceasefire. Right, after that, we'll get the Herald. And the Herald's got the wackiest headline I've seen in a long time, folks. So you're going to enjoy this one. This one's a real cracker. 1 in 4 Scots have been affected by homelessness. And I thought, that doesn't sound bloody right. I'll need to go and have a look. And Charity calls damning poll reveals toll of housing crisis. I went, 1 in 4. That's 1.35 million. That cannot be correct. So I went and looked the figures up. 2023, 2024, the homeless figures were 53,549 people affected in Scotland. 24-25, that was down to 40,686 cases of homelessness in Scotland last year. With 24-25, it's up to, they take it up to March. And as of March 2025, that number was down to 31,370 active cases of homelessness. So where the fuck they get a 1 in 4 from, I don't know. Unless they're extrapolating it over a number of years, and the poll was open to homelessness over a number of years. Because on average, it's between 30 and 50,000 cases of homelessness a year, according to what I can see in the records. And it is coming down. But 1 in 4 Scots affected by homelessness, that's fucking daft. That's no chance. 1.35 million people. That would need to be accumulated over a number of years. At least a decade. Wow. I did say you'd like this headline, eh? But, as I say, I went and looked it up. The figures are there. I've got the figures here all the way back to 2019. I say, there's last year's figures. In 2024, 2025, 40,688 homelessness applications were recorded in Scotland, with 31,695 open cases at the end of March 2025. So where they get the million, 1.35 million for, I have absolutely no bloody idea. None. Mental. One of the wackiest headlines I've seen in a while, folks. Really wacky. That was quick maths, Graham. That's at 0.5% homelessness. I'll take your maths, I'll take your word for it. I say it was very easy to come up with a 1.35 million figure. It's only 5.4 divided by 4, isn't it? You know, so, and of course, finding the figures on actual homelessness figures is no difficult. That's what your search engine's for. So the Herald's way out there today. Way out there. Right, next up we get the Times. What's the Times vote for as a date? The Times is back on Trump and his peace deal. This time it says Trump celebrates art of the everlasting peace deal. That remains to be seen. We can all hope that some sort of two-state solution will come out of this in the long run. I've got a funny feeling though, Trump and Blair's about to turn that into the Riviera of the Med, and the people who are left there will be the people who serve the rich and famous who go and buy properties in Gaza. Unfortunately. We'll watch the way the building goes. If they all end up in one central pocket, we'll know what's happened. Thanks very much, Alistair. You're a star. So it is a cumulative thing. It's over a period of time. 1 in 4 people in Scotland have either been homeless or had a close family friend or family member who has, according to a damning new poll from Ipsos. Aye, Motley. Well, I have to say, we all know somebody who's been homeless at one point or another. Now, if you get to my age, you've had people sofa surf on your couch at one point or other in their life, you know. But if it's an accumulative thing, then it would probably apply everywhere, not just in Scotland. Right, next up, The Guardian, I believe. Aye. Was it a Tory graph? Let's have a look. It's a Tory graph next. So let's have a look and see what it's got for us. We have peace in the Middle East. I say, I hope they're bloody right. I honestly do hope they're right. I have my doubts, because I'm a cynical old git, but I really hope it is peace in the Middle East. I say, but I'm a cynical old git, so I doubt it. Right, after the Tory graph, it's The Guardian. And yes, it's on the same story again. Celebration after Hamas and Israel agree first phase of deal. Now that's a much more honest headline. They've agreed phase 1. Phase 1's a ceasefire. How long will it hold? Will it hold? Thank you very much, Gary. Will it hold? As I say, I'm a bit cynical, folks. I really am. But as I said, this is the story of today. As I say, it's hopefully going to be the good news story of the year. After that, we've got the eye, and it has. Same story, folks. And it's on the ceasefire side of it as well. Ceasefire deal for Gaza, Israel to withdraw troops and hostages set to be released. Good. As I say, I really hope this works. I really do. I really do hope that Trump's made it clear to Netanyahu, it's over. We're not supplying you, we're not protecting you unless you chuck it. But I do worry about the ulterior motives here. And I think there's a wee bit more than a Nobel Peace Prize in amongst it. And everything seems to be centred on Gaza. What about the rest of the Palestinian people and what's left of Palestine? What about the West Bank, where the settlers are encroaching at a rapid rate of knots? So we need to see what comes out of this, folks. That was the eye. So we'll take that down. After the eye, we've got the metro. And what's the metro on today? Well, it'll be no surprise to hear it is on the same story. And the metro tells us dramatic breakthrough in Middle East, peace within reach at last. I hope they're right. As I say, I'm cynical, I'm sceptical, but I do hope they're right. And I mean that sincerely. I do hope they're right. Now, the National's off on a different tangent altogether today. Now, what's the National got? Well, the National's got a Gaelic headline, and I am not going to try and butcher it. So I'll just give you the translation. We mark annual celebration of Gaelic language and culture kicking off in Lochaber with a commemorative front page, and it says, a country without a language is a country without a soul. So that's what the headline there says. The translation's right below it. Well, Scotland's got 3 languages as far as I'm concerned. There's Old Scots, there's the Gaelic and the Doric. So, quite right to celebrate the culture, the Gaelic culture. Of course it is. It's important that we celebrate our culture, and it's important that we celebrate the languages within our culture. So, good front page, National. And it's a wee change for Trump and the Middle East. But as I say, folks, I sincerely do hope that this ceasefire holds and it leads to everlasting peace, with a solution to the situation in Palestine, because it's no bloody Israel, it's Palestine, where all the peoples that live in Palestine can live in peace. That just leaves us with the star of the day. Now, what's the star got for us today? Well, like the National and the Herald, it's off in a totally different direction this morning, and it's on the Madeleine McCann case. And in this case, it's concentrated on Madeleine McCann's younger sister, who was not abducted. McCann girl's agony. Maddie's sister, my stalker's hell. Aye, I can imagine it is for you, young lady. You were the lucky one. You were too young to get snatched. Kirsty, you learnt Gaelic when you were wee, influenced by your mum and aunties and uncles. But you've forgotten it now. I'm sure it's like riding a bike. Once you get used to listening to it again for a wee bit, it'll come back. I know it works that way for me with German. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I'll put on Radio Funk on the AM just to keep up with the German. So, and I find that after about 5 minutes, I can relax right back into it. So I'm sure it'll be the same for you with the Gaelic. Right, folks, last one of the week. It's been an eventful week again. Been some really wacky stuff in the papers, and there's been some really wacky policy announcements for the Tories. But hey, I'm sure by the time we get to the next election, it'll have moderated itself a bit. And hopefully by the time we get to the next election, Farage's party will have imploded the way all the rest of Farage's parties have imploded. Right, folks, have a nice weekend. I'll be back Monday morning, 10:30, to review the headlines then. And then David and I will be back Monday afternoon to speak about what's happened since yesterday's programme to Monday. Okay, so look after yourselves. Have a good weekend. Thanks very much for your kind contributions. Thanks to moderators for moderating. Please hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. It's up to you whether you share this around or not. I'm no one for self-promotion. You guys have a nice day.